Hey, what's up guys? Scott here, back once more with another video. So today, we are doing my review of Fantastic Four First Steps, the newest MCU movie to hit theaters just about a week ago. I saw it twice. I've had time to kind of digest everything and gather my thoughts. Alright, so here we go. Okay, so I'm actually going to be reviewing this movie on two fronts. The first one, I'm going to talk about the movie in of itself on its own merit, and then we'll talk about how I feel the movie did effectively of setting up the future of the MCU overall. So, okay, let's start out right off the gate. So first off, I think it was a smart idea for Marvel to reboot Fantastic Four within the MCU with an all new cast, because we previously had two iterations of the Fantastic Four in the modern era. I mean, there was one made way back in the 90s, directed by Roger Corman, that was never even officially released in theaters, I believe. But we've had three Fantastic Four movies, two of them with the same cast in the modern before this one. I mean, before First Steps, in the modern film era. We had the ones with Ioan Gruffudd, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and Michael Chiklis as the core four, and then we had the one with Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan, and Jamie Bell as the main four. So, and both of those iterations were not super well received, even though I personally liked the ones with Jessica Alba and all them. They were fun for what they were at the time, but that was even before the MCU even started, so it isn't, but they were good for the time, but they weren't universally praised, to say the least. And then the one with Miles Teller was just god awful and was just a flaw of everything. There was so much that went wrong with that movie. Like, the director had one vision for the movie, and then the studio, before it was owned but bought back by Marvel, the studio demanded lots of reshoots. That whole movie production was a mess from the get-go, so the final product did not turn out very well. So anyway, but this is the first Fantastic Four movie within the MCU, so I think it was smart of Marvel to just reboot with an all-new cast. We have Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, Human Torch, and Eben Moss Backrack as Ben Grimm the Thing. So, new cast as your main MCU Fantastic Four. Now, just like they did when they brought in Spider-Man to the MCU, they didn't try to just bring over Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield as the main MCU Spider-Man. They just recast it with Tom Holland as the main MCU Spider-Man. Now, that being said, obviously with Spider-Man No Way Home, they brought in Andrew and Tobey as guest stars in that. But so I'm kind of hoping that with the Doomsday and Secret Wars, we might see some of the old Fantastic Four cast come in as guest stars and allies, but those old casts won't be the main MCU Fantastic Four. So totally smart of Marvel to just reboot within the MCU with an all new cast and give them their own movie to get them established before we head into Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, to kind of get this new team established. So, all right, all that said, okay. So this movie is a very solid movie. I really liked it. It flows well. The story's very told very effectively, very fast paced. I don't feel the story dragged really in any parts. The cast, I thought all was great. They had really good chemistry together. The threat of Galactus felt very real, and the stakes felt real and high, especially with their son, Reed and Sue's son, Franklin Richards, involved. Like, Galactus wants the baby, or he's going to destroy Earth, or he'll just destroy Earth and take the baby anyway. So the stakes were very high, and you felt the dread and desperation, I thought, of the team and everyone trying to figure out a way to defeat Galactus. So that was done really, because this guy's more powerful than Thanos, obviously. He can destroy a whole planet with his, So the dread and seriousness of the situation felt very real, and I really liked that. And like I said, the pacing, very well done. So this is a very tightly made movie. One of the complaints I had about Superman, even though I love the James Gunn Superman, is that the story was very choppy. Like, there would be this going on, and then we would jump over here, and then we'd jump over here. That movie, in a lot of places, didn't flow very well. Whereas Fantastic Four First Steps flows very well. You're able to follow the story very easily. It's very well flowed and well told. So that, absolutely. I thought they did a great job of showing each character's powers on screen very well, translated from the comics to live action. Like Reed, Sue, Johnny, Ben, all of them got their moments to shine in the movie, and the movie did a great job of showing them all using their powers effectively, in different situations, I thought. So that was well done. And so this movie is part of the MCU, but it's set on another Earth apart from the main MCU. So the main MCU Earth, where pretty much everything is taking place, is Earth 616. Excuse me. This movie, Fantastic Four First Steps, takes place on Earth 828, which I found out is a reference to Jack Kirby, who co-created a lot of these characters along with Stan Lee. Jack Kirby was a major comic book author for DC and Marvel, and he helped create a lot of the characters in both universes. So anyway, his birthday was August 28th. So 828, which is where they got this Earth 828 from. So anyway, so they're on a separate Earth from the main MCU, and I think that's smart because that's a great way to bring them in, because same with the X-Men when we get to them in Doomsday. The Fantastic Four and X-Men don't exist on Earth 616, because where would they have been during all the stuff that's gone on, right? So just having the Fantastic Four and the X-Men be from different Earths, and then you're going to bring them in through the multiverse into Avengers Doomsday and stuff. That's a smart way to bring them in. So that explains that. So, and this movie doesn't, at least not till the very end in the credit scene, and even then, this movie doesn't really have any connection because it's set on a different Earth. This movie doesn't really have any connection to the wider MCU, really. Like if you didn't know this movie was set in the MCU going in, you could still go in and watch it just as a standalone movie. I like that. This movie had freedom to do what it wanted to do while also being in the MCU, which I think worked a lot to its benefit. So, the movie itself, very solid, flowed well, fast-paced, was easy to follow. Yeah, the action sequences were great. What their action there was, and we'll get to that in a minute on my list of minor negatives. But overall, I give the movie an 8 out of. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. So definitely worth your time, and I think you definitely probably need to see it before going into Avengers Doomsday. At least it would help you get to know this iteration of the Fantastic Four before going into that film. So anyway, okay, so some minor, really, I guess one minor, maybe two minor negatives I have about the movie. I didn't feel that there was enough action. Like, I really think they could have shown the team fighting more bad guys and stuff. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of them versus villains. We got that little intro at the end where it really explains their origin really quick and effectively. So you jump into them. They've already been the Fantastic Four for 4 years, so you see a montage of them kind of fighting some different stuff, but they didn't really have an epic superhero throwdown in this movie, and I wanted to see that. So that's not enough action to give the team really moments to shine, and then it also ties into the final. I felt that Galactus could have done more and done better in this movie. Like, in the comics, Galactus has other heralds besides the Silver Surfer. He has like 3 or 4 other heralds that could have fought against the Fantastic Four in the final battle while he's trying to get Franklin, So they could have done more. I guess they could have done more with the action and expanded the action more into having more action sequences and more exciting sequences, I think. But that's a very minor. What we got was awesome, but they could have done more actions and fight sequences, I think, in the movie. So, but that's my only negative. So overall, I'll give the movie an 8 out of 10. Definitely worth your time. So, all right. So that's the movie on its own merit. Let's talk about how it sets up the future of the MCU and how I think it's done. So there's a part in the movie where Sue Storm is having a press conference or something at like this Earth's version of the United Nations, and we see an empty chair across from the podium where she's standing. We see an empty chair, and it's the country of Latveria. Well, so that seat is planted early on in the movie, and then jump forward to the end, the mid-credit scene, which is set 4 years after the main events of the movie. So Franklin's now 4, so he's like a toddler. So, and then we see Doctor Doom in that credit scene standing over Franklin's crib. Like, we don't see his face, but like, okay. So I think they effectively. So anyway, Doctor Doom is from Latveria, or is the leader of Latveria in the comics. So he was not at. So we don't know. I assume this iteration of the Fantastic Four has fought Doctor Doom before, because he definitely looks like comic accurate. And then you see the Latvian chair at the UN or embassy or whatever that, and then we see him come to the Baxter Building at the end, staying over Franklin's crib, and Sue Storm, walks up and seems to. So we don't know for sure if like this version of the Fantastic Four has interacted with Doom before or fought him. Just the movie didn't outright say, but he has been established, I think, effectively like Thanos. He didn't steal the spotlight from the villains in the movie, but they teased him once in the movie with Latveria, and then in the end credit scene showed him. So that seed has been planted, like, who is this guy? And then of course we're going into Avengers Doomsday, which then we'll see he's the main villain of that movie. So yeah, I think they did a great job of effectively introducing Victor Von Doom and setting him up, albeit briefly, but setting him up for Avengers Doomsday, while not taking away from the story of the main story of the Fantastic Four movie with Galactus. So I thought they handled that really well. Now, so the stage is set, my friends, for Avengers Doomsday. And we'll have to see where it goes. We know the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and X-Men are all involved. So this will be the first time we ever get to see those teams in the same movie in live action. So I'm very excited. And yeah, I am all on board. I'm all on board through through Doomsday and Secret Wars. I am all on board. So I'm very excited to see what's coming. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and peace out.